The fluorescent lights in the grocery store buzzed faintly above, casting a sterile, cold glow over the aisles. Emma gripped the cart with one hand, her daughter Lily's small fingers entwined in the other. She looked tired, not just physically, but in that soul-deep kind of way that made her eyes seem older than her years. Her coat was too thin for the season. Her shoes had holes in the soles. Her hair, once long and styled with care, was now tied in a quick bun, with loose strands sticking to her cheeks. She had only come to pick up 3 things: bread, peanut butter, and milk. That was all she could afford today. She had counted the crumpled bills 3 times before leaving the house. $11.26. Every cent mattered. Lily, only 3, sat in the cart's child seat, kicking her legs gently, humming to herself. Emma glanced at her daughter and gave her a tired smile. Almost done, sweetie. Just milk left. As they reached the refrigerated section, Emma reached for the cheapest gallon of milk on the bottom shelf. Her fingers were trembling slightly, part nerves, part cold. That's when it happened. In a flash too quick to stop, Lily reached toward the shelf, trying to help. Her tiny hand nudged the jug Emma was holding. The container slipped, fell, and exploded on the floor with a loud, wet crash. Milk splashed everywhere, on Emma's pants, Lily's shoes, the tile floor. The sound echoed through the store. Everyone turned. A woman near the oranges let out an annoyed sigh. A teenager by the frozen pizza section snickered. An older man muttered, "Some people shouldn't bring kids to the store." Emma froze. Her cheeks flushed hot, then cold. Her mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. Her heart pounded in her chest. She bent down instinctively, fumbling for napkins from her purse, though she knew they wouldn't help. Lily looked confused and scared. "Mommy, I'm sorry. It's okay, baby," Emma whispered, her voice cracking. But it wasn't okay. Not really. Not when she felt every eye on her like a spotlight of shame. Not when she knew she couldn't afford another gallon. Not when it felt like the world wanted her to disappear. A store employee showed up with a mop and a frown. "Ma'am, could you step aside while we clean this up?" His tone was cold, not angry, just indifferent. Mechanical, like she was an inconvenience to be removed. Emma nodded, stepping back, hugging Lily tightly. And still, no one helped. Not the woman who had watched the whole thing while sipping coffee. Not the man who whispered something to his wife and shook his head. Not the cashier, who looked away as she passed. She wanted to cry, but she couldn't. She had cried too many times already this week. In the bathroom, on the sidewalk, into her pillow while Lily slept. So instead, she took a deep breath, pushed the cart away from the milk section, and whispered, "We'll come back for it next week, okay?" Lily nodded, sensing the sadness behind the smile. They left the store with just bread and peanut butter. As they stepped out into the chilly air, Emma blinked back tears and looked up at the gray sky. Was anyone ever going to see her? Was anyone ever going to care? It was 6:17 a.m. The city hadn't woken up yet, but Emma had been awake since 4. Her eyes were heavy from another sleepless night. Lily had coughed herself awake 3 times, and Emma had rocked her back to sleep in the dark, humming softly, cradling her fragile little body as if her arms could protect her from everything the world kept throwing at them. She had no car, so she had walked to work in the cold morning air. Her hands were cracked from the wind, her shoes still damp from yesterday's rain. Every muscle ached, but she showed up, because she had to. Emma pushed open the door to the diner, where the scent of frying bacon clung to the walls and 90s rock played softly on the radio. The lights were warm inside, the seats gleaming red and silver, the countertop wiped spotless. But beneath the shine, the place was cruel. She clocked in and grabbed the mop. The manager, Craig, a thick-necked man with a permanent scowl, barely looked up from his phone as she began cleaning the floor. "You missed a spot by the door yesterday," he grumbled. "I'll get it," she replied quietly. He always had something to complain about. She didn't argue anymore. She couldn't afford to. This job, though minimum wage and soul-draining, was the only thread keeping her and Lily from another eviction notice. As she mopped the floor near the window, her back bent and stiff, a woman walked in. She was tall, confident. Her hair was neatly styled. She wore a cream-colored coat, a silver watch, and heels that didn't belong in a greasy diner like this. She paused at the counter and said politely, Just a coffee, please." Her voice was smooth, calm, but firm. She took her coffee and sat at a booth by the window, pulling out a tablet and beginning to read. Emma barely noticed her at first. She had other things on her mind. Lily's growing cough, the rising electricity bill, the shoes she saw at the thrift store that her daughter loved but couldn't afford. Her mop slipped. She was too tired to notice that the bucket was on uneven ground. The next moment happened in a blur. Her foot bumped the edge, the handle tipped, and a whole bucket of dirty mop water spilled across the floor in a wave. It soaked the tiles. It splashed her jeans. The noise echoed in the quiet diner. Everyone turned. Craig exploded from behind the counter. "Are you kidding me, Emma?" he bellowed. "What the hell is wrong with you today?" Emma's heart jumped. Her cheeks burned. She dropped to her knees, already pulling paper towels from her apron. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to." Craig didn't care. "You never mean to. You're a walking disaster. I don't pay you to make more messes. Maybe I should just." That's when the voice cut through the diner like a sharp wind. "Excuse me." Everyone turned. The woman in the cream coat had stood up. She walked toward them slowly, her heels clicking against the tile. She wasn't angry. She wasn't shouting. But her presence was commanding. Like someone who knew exactly who she was and didn't need to prove it. "She's not a disaster," she said calmly. "She's exhausted. And frankly, you're lucky she's still working for you." Craig blinked, caught off guard. "Who the hell are you?" The woman extended a hand toward Emma. "Someone who sees potential where you only see problems." Emma looked up, stunned. No one had ever defended her. Not here. Not anywhere. She took the woman's hand without even realizing it. The woman helped her up gently. "My name is Sarah Thompson," she said, smiling warmly. "And if she's willing, I'd like to offer her a better job." Craig laughed nervously. "Yeah, right. What are you, some kind of CEO?" Sarah cut in. "I run Rise Hope, a nonprofit that supports single mothers. I came in for a coffee. Looks like I found someone worth investing in." For a moment, there was nothing but stunned silence. Craig looked like someone had knocked the wind out of him. He mumbled something under his breath and stormed off toward the back. Emma was still speechless. "I don't understand," she whispered. Sarah smiled gently. "You don't have to. Just know you deserve better. And I can help you get there." Tears welled in Emma's eyes, not from embarrassment this time, but from shock. Gratitude. Hope. No one had ever said words like that to her before. No one had ever looked at her like she mattered. Emma held the card for hours. She kept turning it in her hand, over and over again like it might disappear if she blinked. The words were simple. Sarah Thompson, founder, Rise Hope Foundation. A phone number, an address, a quiet promise. Emma had never been good at trusting people. Life had taught her not to. But something about Sarah's voice, the way she looked at her, not like charity, not like pity, but like possibility, it stirred something inside her that had long been silent. That night, after Lily fell asleep, Emma sat in the kitchen corner of their small apartment, lit only by a flickering bulb. She picked up her old flip phone and called the number. "Rise Hope Foundation, this is Sarah speaking." Emma hesitated, then whispered, "It's me, from the diner." She didn't need to explain. Sarah remembered. "Emma," she said warmly. "I was hoping you'd call." The next few weeks were unfamiliar but full of small victories. Sarah brought Emma in for training, front desk support, data entry, basic office systems. The job was part-time at first, with flexible hours so she could still care for Lily. There was even free daycare at the center, bright walls, clean toys, books, and soft mats where Lily could play and nap safely. Emma cried the first day she dropped her off. Not because she was sad, but because for once, she wasn't leaving her daughter behind in uncertainty. She was leaving her in a place full of care. At work, Emma struggled at first. She hadn't typed since high school. She didn't know how to use spreadsheets. She worried she would mess everything up again. But Sarah was patient. She didn't hover. She didn't criticize. She guided. "You're not failing," she would say gently, "you're learning." Day by day, Emma started to change. She stood taller. She smiled more. Her clothes were still secondhand, but she wore them with new confidence. Her voice stopped shaking when she answered the phone. She learned people's names. She made friends. She started to belong. And Lily thrived. She laughed more, slept better. Her cough faded. She made a friend at daycare named Zoe and came home every day with pictures scribbled in crayon. Smiling suns, crooked flowers, stick figures holding hands. Emma hung every one of them on the fridge. 2 years passed. Emma now worked full-time at the foundation, not as a front desk assistant, but as a case coordinator. She helped other single mothers find housing, apply for food assistance, prepare for job interviews. She wasn't just surviving now. She was guiding. One rainy Tuesday, she sat in her office organizing files when the receptionist buzzed her. "There's a walk-in asking for help. Looks about 22, scared, no appointment." Emma stood up. "Send her in." The door opened slowly, and a young woman stepped in. Soaking wet, trembling, and holding a baby wrapped in a thin blanket. Emma saw the fear in her eyes, the same fear she had once carried into every room. "I'm sorry, I don't know where else to go," the girl whispered. Emma smiled gently, stepping forward with a warm towel. "You're exactly where you need to be." Later that night, Emma sat on her couch with Lily curled beside her, asleep against her shoulder. The apartment wasn't fancy, but it was home. Safe, warm, paid for. There was food in the fridge, books on the shelf, a framed photo of Emma and Lily with Sarah, taken at the foundation's annual event. All three smiling. Emma thought back to the grocery store. The spilled milk, the mop bucket, the day when the world felt like it was done with her. And the one day, one stranger, who looked at her like she mattered. That's all it had taken. One person who cared, one person who didn't look away.